So ito nga mga kabayan, kilalanin po natin ang ating Congresswoman Jinky Luistro at busisiin po natin ang kanyang nagagawa at balak pang gawin sa Batangas 2nd Congressional District sakaling manalo sa pangalawang termino niya sa May 12, 2025 election mga kabayan. So watch po natin ang pag-interview sa video na ito.
I am a young politician. This is my first term. At marami pa po akong kailangang matutunan sa mundong ating ginagalawan. Public service is so important, no? And we are surrounded by different issues, opinions, positions, and even influences.
Sa episode na ito ng Vote Wais, kakausapin natin si Congresswoman Jervil Luistro o mas kilala bilang Jinky Bitrix sa kanyang mga kababayan sa Batangas. Bagitong kongresista si Luistro pero nagpakitang gilas agad sa Kongreso sa talas at tapang ng pagtatanong sa mga hearing. Sa darating na impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte, isa siya sa mga tatayong prosecutor. Ibig sabihin, ilalatag nila ang mga ebidensya laban sa Vice Presidente at sisikaping kumbinsihin ng mga senador na dapat itong tanggalin sa pwesto. Pero dahil after SONA pa ang target na impeachment trial ni Chis Escudero, kailangan munang manalo muli ni Luistro at ng kanyang mga kapwa House prosecutors sa darating na eleksyon. Ang tanong, makatutulong kaya sa kanyang re-election ang pagiging prominent figure ngayon ni Congresswoman Jinky?
I'd like to ask first about the kind of pressure that you might be feeling now given this high profile and your job sa impeachment prosecution team.
Christian, of course, I have to admit, no, my pressure because whether I like it or not, I became part of the national politics, the administration, as against the opposition or the other way around, no? But nevertheless, I do not want to be misled or misdirected. My focus should be, in as far as this election is concerned, my district, because I perfectly understand the very reason why I am in Congress is because of my constituents. I always say I am their representative, I am their voice, or fondly stated, I am the proxy of the constituents of Batangas 2nd District. Nevertheless, I am grateful and honored na bagaman first-termer tayo, we're given the trust and the opportunity to become part. I started with Quadcom, Christian, no? And now we are part of the prosecution team. Sabi ko nga, this is another history that is unfolding. And one time I even commented, what is happening, I believe, is already too much for a first-termer. But we are embracing it with honor. We are embracing it with gratitude na tayo po'y pinagtiwalaan na maging bahagi ng prosecution team ng 19th Congress of the Philippines.
Ito pong high profile ninyo sa Congress at saka yung mga nagawa niyo so far sa House. How do this figure doon sa local campaign? Do they matter? Yung high profile niyo sa national doon sa local campaign?
I believe yes. Dahil masaya yung mga kababayan ko na nakikita nila ako on national TV, on programs like Facts First, no? Hindi sila sanay ng congressman nila. Napapanood nila sa social media, napapanood nila sa mainstream channel, news, no? This time around, we are always part of the news feeds and everything that is about the impeachment process, no? At saka, nung panahon na tayo nag-iimbestiga sa Quadcom, bagaman I understand, tuloy pa po ang Quadcom. I believe that this is important and this is very much appreciated by our kababayan in Batangas 2nd District. In fact, not only in our district, even the other parts of Batangas, I could feel that they appreciate what I am doing in Congress.
Sa pag-iikot niyo po sa distrito, issue ba yung impeachment? Napapag-usapan po ba yan?
Yes, they would often ask, kailan mag-start yung impeachment trial? Some would even say, dapat matuloy yan. Dapat ma-impeach ang vice presidente. Things like that, no? But of course, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Although, I can personally say na yung mga kababayan ko who are very much articulate about the issue, most of them, they are really pro-impeachment.
Pero nakaka-encounter din po ba kayo ng pro-Sara? Kasi whether we like it or not, mataas pa rin yung kanyang popularity and trust ratings kahit bumababa.
I understand, Christian, no? Pero siguro sa Batangas, kung meron man doon na ayaw sa impeachment, siguro very few, and perhaps hindi sila ganun ka-articulate. Kaya wala akong masyadong naririnig. People who do express really their opinion about impeachment, doon sa amin ay pro-impeachment talaga.
How do you manage the expectations and of course the pressure? Because you're part of the House prosecution team at ang plano yata ng Senado ay magsimula yung actual trial after ng SONA. Pero first, you have an election to win.
I understand. Kailangan muna natin manalo, Christian, no? And that is why I am working double time, really, to move around our constituents in Batangas 2nd District. In fact, sinasabi ko na nga po sa ating mga kababayan, the possibility na baka mag-umpisa even before June or before election, because there's still really a possibility sapagkat may mga grupo na nagpupush na ang Senate mag-convene agad. So as early as now, in-express ko na po sa aking mga kababayan na ang inyo pong lingkod ay bahagi ng prosecution team. Tayo po'y pinagtiwalaan ng 19th Congress of the Philippines. I hope and pray na kung matuloy ito even before election, sana wag niyo kong kakalimutan. I will be busy by that time, definitely. Pero sana yung naging serbisyo ni Beatrix, no, ni Congresswoman Luistro from day one of being a congresswoman until this time na possibly magkaroon ng impeachment trial na. Sana yun ang kanilang matandaan while I am busy addressing my responsibility as part of prosecution team.
Paano nyo ina-arrange yung schedule nyo during the campaign? At the same time, kailangan nag-aaral na kayo for the upcoming impeachment trial?
Time management, Christian. Time management.
Give us a sense, yung paano yun? Sa isang linggo?
Right now, na wala pang impeachment trial, we have a regular meeting, no? Ang prosecution team. It's once a week. Tapos, the rest of the week, nasa Batangas po ako. Pag nasa Batangas po ako, ang tutok ko ay ang aming distrito. Pero the moment I am in Manila for the purpose of prosec meeting, ang tutok ko po ay impeachment trial. So, ito po yung araw na ako'y nagbabasa, nag-aaral, at nakikipagpaliwanagan sa mga kapwa natin prosecutors na haharap sa impeachment trial.
Gano'ng kabigat yung pressure na you're part of the House prosecution team? Or tingin ko nga kayo yung lead, no? Gano'ng kabigat yung pressure na yan? Mabigat,
Christian, but nonetheless, this is a constitutional duty that we have to take. And I am appreciating actually this opportunity sapagkat as a first-termer, this is a big thing that is happening to me already, no? At tayo po'y nagpapasalamat in spite of the pressure. Nagpapasalamat po tayo sa tiwala ipinagkaloob sa atin ng 19th Congress of the Philippines to join the prosecution panel for the purpose of this impeachment trial. We are certainly part of the history that is unfolding right now because for the very first time, we're impeaching no less than the Vice President of the Philippines.
Kung sakali magsimula po yung trial, syempre doon kayo nakatutok before elections. Could that be detrimental to your re-election bid? Or somehow, baka pwede rin maging advantage?
Pwedeng detrimental because yung attention ko sa district ay mababawasan, no? But it could be an advantage as well because I am certain that my kababayan will appreciate seeing me as part of the prosecution team in the impeachment trial, no? It's quite hard to weigh kung alin ba ang mas lamang doon, detriment or advantage. Pero nonetheless, kung matutuloy before election, I wish to appeal to my kababayan, this is a constitutional duty that we really have to face. So sana, mas lamang yung advantage rather than the detriment.
Nung time na mga Quadcom hearings po, nung mostly nasa mainstream news reports, nakita ko sa social media, may mga nagsasabi, senator material. Some of them were saying, eto, pwedeng tumakbo for senator. Pwede nga, miski 2025. Did that ever cross your mind?
No, it didn't. Nakikita ko yon sa mga comments, no? And some people even articulate that towards me, no? Pero it never crossed my mind for 2025. No, kasi I acknowledge that I am a young politician. This is my first term. At marami pa po akong kailangang matutunan sa mundong ating ginagalawan. Public service is so important, no? And we are surrounded by different issues, opinions, positions, and even influences, no? Pwedeng the administration, pwedeng the opposition, pwedeng simbahan, pwedeng media, pwedeng public clamor. And I honestly believe na hindi pa sapat para tayo'y sumabak sa ganito kalaking endeavor or vision. So, I just want to live it up like that, no? Just go on kung anong mga dumarating along our way. Just like now, we are preparing for the impeachment trial. After nitong impeachment process na ito, let's see kung anong opportunities ang darating sa atin. But definitely, during that time for 2025, running for senator never crossed my mind.
But you're not closing the door on that possibility in the future?
I'm actually, Christian, not inclined to entertain that idea right now, no? Kasi ang pakiramdam ko, bubot na bubot ako, no? Ang dami ko pang kailangang matutunan. And, running to a national position is really something so big na hindi ganun kadali na desisyonan. So, let's wait and see what will happen along the way.
Well, the first time kayo tumakbo 2022, medyo dikit yung laban. Tinalo niyo yung anak nung termed out congressman nung inyong distrito. Dito sa paparating na election po, how would it be different from your first election in 2022?
Well, I am positive, Christian, no? That we are able to establish the difference between myself and our opponent, no? In terms of rendering public service. Number one, pagdating sa visibility, very constant ang visibility natin among all our constituents. Hindi tayo yung tipo ng politiko na nakikita lang pag panahon ng eleksyon. And to be specific, even during the first day of my assumption of office as Congresswoman, walang nagbago. Visible pa rin tayo sa tao. Ang biro ko nga, buhay man o patay, present si Beatrix. Because tayo yung tipo ng public servant na talagang we really mingle with our constituents. Simula sa pinakamaliit hanggang sa pinakamalaking gathering, people of Batangas 2nd District will really see and feel the presence of their congresswoman, no? Second, we are really a hard-working public servant. I see to it na lahat ng programa ng ating national na pamahalaan ay ating naibababa sa ating laylayan ng lipunan. That includes the amelioration program, no? We do the proactive coordination with the concerned agency like the TSWD, the DOLE, the TESDA, the CHED. Kasi nakikita natin yan during budget briefing. Nasaan yung mga programa na pakikinabangan ng ating mga kababayan? As early as the budget briefing, Christian, nangungulit na ako sa mga kalihim ng ahensyang yan. Nakikipag-usap na kaagad ako kay Secretary Gatchalian of DSWD, kay Secretary Laguesma of Dole, sa ating head ng TESDA, and even kay Chairman Popoy of CHED, no? Kasi ito yung mga maraming programa na kailangan ng ating mga kababayan. And that is the reason. Let us include DOH, no? Si Secretary Herbosa. Kailangan ng ating mga kababayan itong mga programang ito. That includes AIX, TUPAD, MAIP, the hospital assistance that we use para sa ating mga indigent patients, and scholarship na ino-offer ng CHED, no? Kung gaano ang nadadala nating programa sa ating distrito, depende yun sa sipag ng congressman. Kung marunong kang makipag-usap, kung marunong kang makiusap, kung makulit kang mag-follow up, please include our district. That's what I do, Christian. Kaya I believe the people of Batangas 2nd District observe that, na pagdating sa mga programa ng national government, hindi naiiwan ang Batangas 2nd District.
Puntahan naman natin yung AKAP at yung iba pang mga ayuda na tila nagagamit ng maraming mga kongresista para sa eleksyon, partikular sa tinatawag na patronage politics.
Isa po sa mga binabato sa House, medyo ilang buwan na rin, yung issue ng AKAP, AIX, TUPAD na ginagamit daw for, specifically AKAP, no? Ginagamit for early campaigning ng mga kongresista. Anong tugon nyo po ron?
I beg to disagree to that opinion, no? Kasi for AKAP, TUPAD, and sama na natin yung mga guarantee letter ng medical assistance for indigent patients. Ito po yung mga lumang programa. Matatagal na po ito, with or without election. Depende sa sipag ng congressman na nagse-shepherd nito. Ito'y kaya nating dalhin sa ating mga kababayan kung masipag ang mga public servant, no? About AKAP, bagaman ito'y bago, let us acknowledge the fact na yung minimum wage ng ating mga kababayan kulang, and it has nothing to do about election. Issue of minimum wage has no connection at all to this coming election. As a matter of fact, may election o wala, yung mga minimum wage earner, kapos ang kita. Kailangan ang tulong ng pamahalaan. Kaya I am very much certain and positive about these amelioration programs. Ang sinasabi ko nga, kahit inaatake ito ng ilang kasamahan natin dito sa public service, no? If I only have the chance na doblihin ko pa, triplihin ko pa, I will do that. Kasi ang hirap ng buhay. And this is one perfect avenue kung paano makakapasok ang pamahalaan upang tulungan ang ating mga kababayan. There are some people who even comment na tinuturuan daw maging tamad ang ating mga kababayan.
Or dependent.
I don't think so, Christian. Kasi sa dami ng pamilyang Pilipino, kung mapagkakalooban mo man yan, siguro once or twice a year, magkano? 3,000? 5,000? Do you think that with that amount, in a period of 1 year, titigil maghanap buhay ang pamilyang Pilipino? Magiging dependent ang pamilyang Pilipino? I don't think so. Because that is far from what we need para tayo'y mabuhay. Kulang na kulang para mabuhay ang bawat pamilyang Pilipino. As I was explaining during our assemblies, ang ginagawa natin with this amelioration program ay para lamang tukuran ba ang pamilyang Pilipino na kahit papano nandito ang pamahalaan, tuloy ang laban at tinutukuran ka ng ating pamahalaan. But in no way that this amelioration program will make the Filipino people dependent or kagaya ng sinasabi ng iba, tinuturuang maging tamad. I totally disagree, Christian.
Pero yung pinakamalaking issue po na binabato dito, specifically sa AKAP, yung role ng mga legislators dun sa distribution tsaka sa identification. Bakit daw visible present yung mga politiko, but hindi na lang diretso sa DSWD?
We have to understand, Christian, na ang Congress may oversight function, no? The power of the purse belongs to Congress. Tayo po nagbabalangkas ng budget ng buong Pilipinas. That comes by way of a legislation as well. And to make sure that it is diligently implemented, ipinagkaloob din po ng saligang batas yung kapangyarihan ng Kongreso. We call it oversight function. To see to it that it is being followed strictly. Pag bumababa po kami to oversee the implementation, that is an exercise of our oversight function. The DSWD is there. They are the one who implements. The members of the House can possibly be there. Pwede din namang wala. Pwede din andun sila. But the reason why we are there is because we want to make sure that the General Appropriations Act, which we pass and approve, is followed strictly by the Executive Department, no? Wala pong mali akong nakikita doon. Sapagkat ito po'y kasama sa kapangyarihan na pinagkaloob ng saligang batas sa Kongreso ng Pilipinas.
Yung iba po pwedeng wala ng tarpaulin ng politiko.
Yes, oo. Pwedeng may tarpaulin. You're just welcoming the DSWD. What is wrong with that? That is your district. Bababa ang DSWD. Mag-i-implement. You just want to welcome them and you're happy because they're bringing these programs to your kababayan. Ang masama, Christian, ay kung sasabihin mo na itong perang ito ay galing sa aking bulsa. Na ito'y aking pera. Yun ang masama. As a matter of fact, Christian, for us na nag-oversee in the exercise of oversight function, ito implementation ng amelioration program, we even emphasize na ito'y pera ng gobyerno. Galing sa buwis na inyong binayaran. Hindi pera ng congresswoman. Kaya inyong pahalagahan. Minsan nga, nagjo-joke pa ako Bato-bato sa langit, ang tama ay bukol, wag itataya sa weteng, wag itataya sa tongit. Bagaman ito'y mga bawal. That is my way of waking them up na ito'y programa ng gobyerno na dapat inyong pinahahalagahan.
Kung meron misimpressions from your constituents, kasi common yan sa mga Pilipino, debt of gratitude, no? Sinasabi, salamat Congresswoman dito sa AKAP. You make a conscious effort to correct that, na hindi galing sa akin to.
Yes, Christian, because every time I render or say my message during assemblies, hindi lang during payouts, even in small meetings and big meetings in our district, I always explain, ito ang mga programa ng ating pamahalaan. Galing sa buwis na inyong binayaran. Inyong pahalagahan. Sapagkat this is the way of the government para kayo ay mapagsilbihan. I always say that. And I think the message is clear. The people understand na hindi yun galing sa bulsa ng mga politiko. Sa halip, galing yun sa buwis ng taong bayan.
Medyo maiba ko na. Napansin ko lang, each time in-interview ko kayo, ito first time na magkaharap po tayo, no? Kadalasan nasa kotse kayo. And when I monitor your other interviews, lagi kayo nasa kotse, nagpo-pull over. Bakit gano'n? Bakit nasa kotse kayo lagi?
Every time we are in Batangas, Christian, we don't waste any single moment of our time, no? Talagang ikot ako ng ikot sa aming distrito. I attend birthday parties, I attend meetings, I naghahanap sa kasal, I attend wakes. So, yung normal ko, which is during session, Thursday to Sunday, full-time ako na umiikot sa aming distrito, no? That's the only place where I can stay para makafocus ako sa interview. I'm far from the house, I'm far from the office kasi nasa field ako. So what I do, nagkukulong na lang ako sa loob ng sasakyan at dun ko ginagawa yung interview, no? For some, they would say na, kaya nga larga yung slogan niya kasi larga siya ng larga. Siguro nga, that is consistent with our slogan, Larga Batangas 2nd District. Kasi ang congresswoman hindi tumitigil. Larga ng larga, kaya most of the time, nasa loob ng sasakyan.
Bakit sa local campaign or local politics, importante yung ganyang visibility? I think others call it the Binay formula, no? Yung lahat pinupuntahan. Sa konteksto ng 2nd District, bakit po importante yan?
Ang observation ko, Christian, ang mga tao naghahanap Mas appreciated nila yung public servants na nakikita, nakakausap, at nakakasalamuha. And that is why from my day one, ito na yung naging pamantayan ko sa aking paglilingkod dun sa aming lalawigan, no? In fact, ang sinasabi nila, si Beatrix ay congresswoman na kaibigan, congresswoman na kayang kalabitin, at congresswoman na kayang gisingin. Lalo na kung gigising mga kababayan sa 2nd distrito ng lalawigan. And I'm living up to that promise, Christian.
Okay, isa rin po sa mga challenges sa Philippine elections yung vote buying. Na sinasabi nila, wala ka na magagawa dyan, tanggap na yan, especially sa local. Is it really the case or pwede namang mag-run ng credible campaign without resorting to that?
I still believe in the credibility of election, no? With or without yung sinasabi mong vote buying, I honestly believe at the end of the day, yung puso at yung utak ng botante ang masusunod. Whatever countermeasures ang gawin ng mga politiko, on the day of the election, you will be judged on the basis of how you perform on the past years or period that you serve your district, no? So, with or without that, ako po'y naniniwala na ang pagboto ng mga Pilipino sagrado at ang iboboto nila ay nakaayon sa kung paano kanila nakilala, kung paano kanila naobserbahan, at kung paano kanila iniisip bilang isang public servant. Okay. That's how I see it, no?
Sa darating na eleksyon, naglipanan na naman ang mga political dynasties sa bawat sulok ng bansa. Hindi nalalayo ang mga politiko sa Batangas. Yung asawa ni Congresswoman Jinky, tumatakbo rin. So ano bang stand niya pagdating sa political dynasties na ipinagbabawal sa ating konstitusyon? Kaso, hindi pa rin maipasa yung tinatawag na enabling law sa Kongreso.
Isa rin pong issue na mainit ngayon yung political dynasties, no? Diyan sa Batangas, hindi naman siya naiiba doon sa ibang mga probinsya sa Pilipinas. Where do you stand on this issue?
Pag political dynasty po kasi, I wish to believe na dapat i-apply ito sa mga appointive position. Pero pagka mga elective, the sole power to choose who will be the public servants are still the Filipino people, no? So, it is hard to conceive political dynasty kung ang naghahalal naman ay ang taong bayan. But if it is an appointive position, I am against political dynasty. Tama na ang isa sa pamilya. But if it is an elective position, tingin ko dadami lang yung pamilya dahil sila ang pinagtitiwalaan ng taong bayan.
Pero paano po yung constitutional provision na...
Christian, I honestly believe that the definition of political dynasty to this time is still debatable. No, we need to come up with further legislations what political dynasty is all about and the restrictions that we have to impose in order to implement the constitutional provision against political dynasty, no? Kailangan po natin ng further legislations para magkaroon ng kaliwanagan. Now, we have to check, ano ba ang intention ng framers ng 1987 Constitution when they made this constitutional provision against political dynasty?
Pero bilang isang legislator, do you believe na dapat na talagang magkaroon ng enabling law?
I believe yes, kasi ang tagal na issue na nito eh. Palagi nating naririnig yung political dynasty, no? Pero ano bang political dynasty ang pinag-uusapan natin dito? Are we talking about elective positions? Are we talking about appointive positions? To what degree of affinity or consanguinity are we talking about? Ito'y kailangan nating ilatag in a further legislation.
Okay, dito po sa 2025 elections, ang makakaharap nyo yung tatay nung tinalo nyo ng 2022. Veterano po itong kongresista. Nakatatlong termino po yata at least, no? Ano yung advantage sa kanya? You have 3 years to show. Siya veterano, nagbabalik.
Well, in all humility, Christian, no? At ito na may naririnig ko sa mga kababayan ko from Batangas 2nd District, yung 2 years ko versus his 9 years, mas naramdaman tayo ng tao. And I always say also, ang partido, secondary lang yan. What is primary really is kung naramdaman ka ng taong bayan. I am confident and positive, Christian, na kung huhusgahan tayo ng taong bayan, kung paano tayo naglingkod sa loob ng ating unang termino, higit nila tayong naramdaman kaysa sa ating kalaban sa loob ng kanyang 9 na taong panunungkulan.
Paano nga ba napasok sa politika si Luistro? At saan ba nakuha yung palayo na Jinky Bitrix?
Yung Jinky Bitrix, saan po ba nanggaling yung nickname na yun?
Jinky is my nickname. Bitrix is my husband's namesake, no? And because I just continued his intention to run as Congressman of Batangas 2nd District, tinala ko po yung pangalang Bitrix. And this is the name which is being embraced by our kababayan in Batangas 2nd District. Kaya to this date, we are known as Jinky Bitrix Luistro.
Before 2022, you were not in politics, no?
Yes.
You were the wife of a politician.
Yes.
Again, dun sa mga hindi familiar sa history ninyo, bakit kayo napatakbo o nag-decide tumakbo ng 2022?
I think I was able to share this in one of the programs that I see already in YouTube, no? Ang original pong tatakbo bilang congressman was my husband, who was the incumbent mayor of Mabini during that time. Mabini is my hometown, no? Kaya lang, during that time, nagpapakilala na siya. He has pronounced already his intention to run. And he was moving around already in the 6 municipalities of Batangas 2nd District. He was challenged by 2 consecutive fabricated cases of rape. Mga peking kaso ng panggagahasa, no? Why do I say fabricated? Because first and foremost, walang complainant. We checked his records with the PSA, with the COMELEC, with the CHED, with the DepEd. Walang nagtatali in terms of pangalan, date of birth, and other personal circumstances to sa pagkatao ng complainant. And to bolster, Christian, kapag nagpapadala ng notices ang prosecution at ang judiciary tun sa complainant, lahat return to sender, which only shows that even the address is fictitious, no? And during the time of trial, walang dumating, not even once, na complainant.
Isa kong tanong, Congresswoman, paano umabot sa level na yon ng proseso na sa judiciary kung bogus yung complainant?
Yan din yung question ko, Christian, no? But medyo nakaka-disappoint kasi I myself is a lawyer, kabaro ko yung mga fiscal, kabaro ko yung mga huwes, and I honestly believe with all due respect sa kanila, kung ginawa nila ng tama yung kanilang trabaho, hindi dapat yan aabot sa warrant of arrest. First and foremost, yung PI, preliminary investigation, before the prosecution, dapat hahanapin mo yung physical presence ng tao eh. Dapat na-ascertain mo walang taong dumadating. Diba? Pagdating ng court, meron silang tinatawag na judicial determination of probable cause, which based on records, the court in charge of this case of my husband did conduct, no? Bakit hindi nila na-ascertain na fictitious yung tao? It was by way of my own investigation.
Kayo nag-effort.
Ako ang nag-imbestiga to identify and establish the identity of this complainant. Hindi ko nga makita. Walang magtaling personal circumstances based on records. I myself even visited the alleged address of the complainant. Wala ding magtaling house number and street. It is nowhere to be found, no? Which leads me to one conclusion. This is really a demolition job because it was done on the same period of time that my husband was already moving around and picking up already as an aspiring candidate for congressman of Batangas 2nd District. And Christian, this happened twice,
Parehong fictitious.
Parehas fictitious. Parehas ang modus. And what is strange, yun pong first case, September pa na-issue ang warrant of arrest. September 2021. That is COVID time, no? And if not because of a friend, police officer, na nagbulong sa amin about this warrant of arrest, hindi pa namin malalaman. There were alleged information na the plan was to serve it at the height of the campaign.
Para nakakulong.
Maybe that's one of the purpose and consideration, no? Kumbaga, napaso dahil maaga namin nalaman. And would you believe, Christian, ako pa ang naghanap ng kaso. Hinanap ko pa sa court kung totoo bang merong ganito. And to my surprise, meron nga. May standing warrant of arrest. And when I started my own investigation, walang tao. Walang complainant. It is hard to believe, no? And it is hard to understand how a case without a complainant magkakaroon ng warrant of arrest. And it's really so frustrating for people like me who was once one of the lawyers in the courtroom, one of the lawyers in the preliminary investigation na ganito pala. Meron pala talagang ganito.
Pwede pala mangyari.
Yes. Tapos yung pangalawang fabricated case, balik lang ulit ng asawa ko, kaka-dismiss lang nung first case. Yung pangalawang fabricated case, we discovered 2 weeks after. And
COVID time pa rin.
Is it still COVID
Hindi na.
time?
Ay,
Parang hindi na. Swerte lang namin, Christian, inabot namin sa PI, preliminary investigation. So wala pa siyang warrant of arrest. Nakapag-counter affidavit pa kami. Na-explain pa namin yung total whereabouts ng asawa ko during that time kasi umiikot na nga siya noon. We're thankful sapagkat sa level pa lang ng fiscal, dahil nakasagot kami, dinismiss na.
Okay. Pero why, kung exonerated na siya dyan, na patunayan na bogus yung cases, why did he decide not to pursue that election?
It's hard to explain to around 250,000 registered voters of Batangas 2nd District that what happened to him was a demolition job.
Nagmarka sa kanila?
Somehow, it tainted his reputation. It tainted his name, no? And for somebody na bago pa lang nakikilala. Ang hirap nun, Christian, bago pa ka palang nakikilala, merong na agad dungis sa iyong pangalan sapagkat ikaw ay nakasuhan bagaman ito'y mga peking kaso ng rape, no? So, we decided that he will stay running for mayor of Mapini and I will be the one to continue his bid for congressman of Batangas 2nd District.
Do you consider that as vindication? The fact na nanalo kayo?
Yes.
Kahit hindi tumakbo yung asawa niya?
Yes, I believe yes, that is a vindication na kahit nagkaroon ng dungis ang pangalan niya, pinaniwalaan pa rin ako, pinagtiwalaan pa rin ako ng aking mga kababayan sa Batangas 2nd District. I feel vindicated, yes.
Do you think he has finally recovered from this shame campaign?
Pag nakikita niya sa social media na nababother pa rin siya, nadidisturb pa rin siya, pero I told him na wala naman tayong dapat ipag-alala dyan. Kasi nung panahon ng kampanya ko, unang laban, that's part of my speech. I was explaining to the people of Batangas 2nd how we became victims of injustice. My husband, myself, and my young children. How those cases affected the family.
Mm-hmm. Ngayon, tumatakbo po siya muli, no?
Yes, and we're thankful because he is unopposed. Wala po siyang kalaban sa kanyang tinatakbuhang mayor ng aming bayan. So I call him Christian as presumptive mayor because I honestly believe it's just a matter of time. Uupong mayor ng aming bayan, si Mayor Peters.
Were we able to establish kung sino yung nagpakalat nito?
I have people in mind. But definitely, they will not leave any footprints, no? At wala din tayong kayang ilatag na ebidensya except for the fact that sila lang ang may motibo para gawin to against my husband. I have people in mind.
Yung yung idea po ng malicious prosecution, hindi ba pwedeng gamitin yan? At least yung sa una.
I thought, Christian, na hindi naman ito mangyayari kung hindi nagpa-impluwensya ang ating piskal, kung hindi nagpa-impluwensya ang ating korte, no? Bagaman indeed mayroong malicious prosecution, ay akin pong ipinagpapasa Diyos na lamang. Tayo na may pinagkalooban ng pagkakataong pagtiwalaan ng ating mga kababayan, no? I just hope na huwag na ulit itong mangyari. Kasi, Christian, sa sobrang trauma ko, no? Sa sobrang trauma namin during that time, nung makaraos kami dito sa dalawang peking kasong ito, what I did, sinulatan ko lahat ng piskal sa buong Pilipinas, sinulatan ko lahat ng hepe ng buong Pilipinas about what happened to my husband. To serve as warning na huwag kayong magpagamit sa mga ganitong fabrication ng kaso. Walang basehan, pero nagkakaroon ng mga kaso. Hindi pa totoo ang complainant. I remember during that time also, Christian, isa sa mga hinihingan ko ng tulong ay ang ating Justice Secretary ngayon, si Secretary Boying Remulla. And I remember na nag-issue siya ng circular ng DOJ immediately after his assumption as Secretary of Justice Department, increasing the quantum of evidence before a case is filed or forwarded in court.
Talaga?
And that is, the purpose of which is to avoid malicious prosecutions like what happened to my husband. Because he's very much aware of what happened to my husband.
Okay. Finally, Congresswoman, ito tinatanong ko lagi sa mga kinakausap namin dito sa VoteWise. Kung kausap niyo yung mga botante, bakit kayo yung dapat iboto at hindi yung kalaban ninyo?
Dahil ako po ang congresswoman na nagtratrabaho, ako po ang congresswoman na nakikita ninyo, at ako po ang congresswoman with all humility na babagay sa kongreso.
So anong tingin nyo kay Congresswoman Jinky Luistro? Deserve ba niya ang pangalawang termino bilang kinatawan ng 2nd District ng Batangas? Ang makasasagot niyan ay yung mga botante ng kanyang distrito.
So comment lang po kayo sa inyong mga reaksyon sa video na ito, mga kabayan. Vote wisely sa May 12, 2025. Dapat ba nating uling iboto ang ating Congresswoman Jinky Luistro sa susunod na termino niya bilang Congresswoman? At maging matalino po tayo sa ating mga iluluklok muli sa Kongreso at sa Senado, mga kababayan, para hindi po uli tayo mabudol ng mga politikong puro pangako lang At pagdating na nanalo na, ay napapako na ang kanilang mga pangako. Vote wisely mga kabayan. Maraming salamat sa inyong panonood. To God be the glory.